Retro Mondays.
Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome to the 20th episode of Retro Mondays, where the goal of this show is to turn your Monday into a fun day. Yeah! For today's game, I am super excited to announce our special guest. He kicks off this year's collab work with some of the best reviewers and internet personalities out there. Gamers, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to introduce my good friend, The Wiiviewer.
Hey Kwing, it's great to be here. When you first asked me to review this game, the first thing I said was, what is Lost Vikings? And really, I do think that would be the reaction of most of the people out there watching this video. Because most of the people out there have not played this game. And trust me when I say, you're not missing anything.
Right you are, man. This game tested your skills, and even though we managed to beat the game, it wasn't a very thrilling moment in my life.
I know what you mean. We're not about to unearth some hidden gem lost to the sands of time. More like we found a nickel in the sand.
Very deep stuff, bro. Anyway, The Lost Vikings is a platform puzzle game that first released in 1992 for the DOS and the Super Nintendo. The game was developed by Silicon Synapse, now known as Blizzard Entertainment, and was published by Interplay.
This game was an interesting one. Mentioning that this game was on the PC sure did bring back some of the memories of those old DOS games. You know the ones I'm talking about.
Oh, you mean how it would be fun for 4 levels and then a shareware message would pop up and you would have to buy the game. Yep, good times. Good times.
Exactly. If you did manage to buy the game, it was always a letdown, because the best levels were always at the beginning of the game. I kind of felt that way about Lost Vikings. Even though the later levels were creative, it still got dull quick.
Oh, I agree, man, but let's save our laundry list of complaints until later in this episode, okay?
Alright, that sounds good.
The story revolves around 3 Viking hunters, Eric the Swift, Balog the Fierce, and Olaf the Stout. One night, an alien spaceship beams them up so that the evil Tomater can add them to his Space Zoo collection. Eventually, the 3 stumble upon a time door and go through it in hopes of returning home. Instead, they end up lost in time.
The time travel thing seemed like it was kind of a wasted gimmick. They go back and forward in time, just so they can return home and rock out on a guitar? Oh, sorry, I just spoiled the ending. Oh well, I just saved you 37 levels of frustrating gameplay. You know what? You're welcome.
I can see how this isn't going to be a game we recommend others to play.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you're feeling brave, time for us to explain how to play Lost Vikings. Well, actually, the gameplay is pretty simple. You control all characters at the same time and switch party members by pressing the L or the R button. Mastering each character's abilities is necessary to triumph over the many brain teasers this game throws at you. Eric is the fastest character and the only one able to jump. His headbutt is used to break down walls and can be used to attack enemies as well. Olaf uses a shield and can defend against any enemies and even glide in the air. Lastly, we have Balog, who uses his bow and sword, which is used to kill most of the enemies in this game.
I wonder who decided who would do what. Okay guys, this is how it's gonna go. I'm gonna run and jump for items. Balog, you alone will fight every enemy that you come across.
What do you mean, every enemy? What about you or Olaf?
I told you, I'm jumping for items and running around. I can't be fighting off people. That's your job. Here's your sword.
Where's my shield?
Olaf will be your shield.
Wait, I'm his what?
Olaf, you will shield us from all the projectiles that will be shot towards us.
Let me get this straight. I'll stand here while arrows and who knows what else comes screaming at me.
Yes.
So, I'm a human shield? Oh, do I at least get to defend myself if any enemies come by me? Yes?
No, you just stand there.
Well, you gotta be kidding me.
Okay, this is not fair, Eric.
What's wrong, buddy?
What's wrong is that you have me killing everyone and him standing there like a dummy.
Here I go. I put my finger in my nose.
Well, you're just lazily jumping around grabbing things.
You know I can hurt myself jumping up and down all the time. I can pull a hamstring. So I don't appreciate your attitude, mister. What's the problem? I just don't see it.
The problem is that Olaf and I are doing all the work while you sit back and do nothing.
To me, it seems like he must not like his friends very much. Basically, one character jumps, one fights, and one blocks.
Hey, don't forget about the other items, man. They're as important to this game as everything else. During your adventure, our heroes discover many items to restore health, kill a group of enemies, added protection, and oh yeah, blowing stuff up. The Vikings can also share items.
Which brings us to one of the many bad things about this game. Sharing items was a good concept on paper, but in order for it to work, the Vikings need to be close to each other. It makes sense, but considering how far they are away from each other most of the time, it's just stupid.
So what is the point of collecting these items, Eric? I mean, seriously. You go through and some of these are just so insane to collect. Then after going through all of that stuff, at the end of the level, they disappear anyway. It doesn't matter if you had extra meat, power-ups, it's all gone.
Yeah, maybe Eric should quit jumping around all the time and hold on to an apple.
Listen, folks, I'm doing my best to throttle back the Wiiviewer here, because he has a lot, and I mean a lot, to say wrong about this game. You know what? I actually agree with him, and I'm sure his deleted scenes are going to be hilarious, but his rant was just way too long for Retro Mondays. Literally, it was 5 pages long! The traps are so inconsistent, and sometimes they're either very clever or other times really dumb.
Ooh! One of the strangest parts is that when one of your characters dies, you can't finish the level. However, the game lets you continue on with the level even though there's no way to beat it. I mean, come on. I got most of my Vikings to the goal. Isn't that good enough? Why not say try again when one of my characters dies? Why do I need to select it?
I know, right? Blizzard should have given us some way of doing that. That really got on my nerves.
Woo! That's right, Luke. Get into the spirit of ragging on this game. It's fun. No more of this positive, oh, everybody's a winner sort of thing. Let's rip this game. Rip this game. Rip this game.
Why can we still beat the level when you still lose? It's almost like the game wants you to execute the remaining Vikings to start again. That's exactly what the Wiiviewer and I did. When one Viking met his end, they all did.
Boom!
The music is actually a very touchy subject for me, being, well, a musician. It's not the score for this game that was bad or anything, but it's not very good either. It just never does anything exciting. It's just there. What do you think about the music, Wiiviewer?
The music. Oh my goodness, the music. It was so repetitive, and it will
Haunt your dreams.
Okay, maybe it's not that bad. But it's definitely one of those games where you'll want to mute the sound on your TV.
Alright, Eric, even though I know you have many more things wrong with Lost Vikings, I honestly believe, in fact, no, I know, that the dumbest thing about this game was switching the characters.
Yeah, it was so tedious to constantly switch between the 3 characters. You could easily do it, but there are plenty of times where I would have loved to just be able to yell out to the other Vikings to
Get over here!
Well, so now that you've gotten most of this off your chest, is there anything that was really good about this game? I'm drawing a blank at the moment.
Alright, let's see. Oh, the controls! They didn't suck. But on a more serious note, I really did like the password system.
Finally, you have something good to say about this game.
Yeah, I did, and unlike a lot of the games of its era, it has a simple 4-letter or number password system. There are no complicated symbols or 200-letter cryptograms to decipher. It made it simpler to put in the password so I could quickly move past the levels and never play them again.
I give up. Well, I like the power-ups that eradicated everyone on the screen. The fact that Olaf can defend against any attack in this game, you gotta admit, man, that was pretty cool. He could even hold mummies at bay. Not to mention the super arrow that can kill all bad guys with one hit, even the final boss. That's pretty sick, man. I suppose we should mention how the levels have lots of secrets, too.
But that would be pointless because there was no reason to find them. Because the developers really only made them accessible to Eric, and usually just packed them with traps and enemies.
Yeah, so no real reason to do that, I suppose. We complained a little bit about the switching characters, but I have to admit, when I accidentally found out that while you're actually going for items, you can still switch your characters. So if things get really tense, you just hit the select button and pick your character. That way you're not switching in real time. Still, the only really good thing I can think of about this game was its graphics. Blizzard did an excellent job, and everything but the spaceship looked great in this game.
I do agree with that. Also, the animations on the characters were quite colorful and lively. They were very expressive when they die, and they would actually rag on you if you die too many times in the level. It was quite funny, and totally something I would do if I ever programmed a video game.
Personally, the humor is the only thing that kept me playing this game, man. Although this game is so old now that most of the jokes are about 70s and 80s pop culture. So kids today would be very confused over the Steve Martin reference about King Tut and a lot of other stuff. But I agree, the character expressions are very funny and well animated. Dude, you're not gonna believe me, but Blizzard actually made a sequel to this game called Lost Vikings 2 that released in 1994 and 1996.
Whoa, hey, hold on a second. They actually made a sequel to this game? That thought alone is terrifying. And I'm gonna say this right now, K-Wing. I'm not gonna play that game. Not now, not ever. We're not gonna review the sequel. Nope, putting my foot down now.
Oh wow, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Well, maybe for one guy I do.
Speaking of that, I've been wondering, when you asked me to review this game called Lost Vikings, I thought it would be cool. You know, the two of us playing this game together. You know, two buddies playing an old game, passing levels, laughing and having fun. But after I played it, I started to wonder, do you even like me at all?
No worries, man. You're awesome. Seriously, don't worry about it.
You always do memories in these reviews. What was your memory of this game?
In terms of memories, honestly, I think I rented this game and I got mad at it when I got to around level 15, so I threw the cart up against the wall, then tried to return it saying it didn't work.
So basically, you did them a favor, and they wouldn't take it back? That's just wrong.
So in conclusion, Wiiviewer, is this game worth playing? Yes or no?
Worth playing? I guess if you found a free copy in the dirt or something.
Ouch.
Sure, why not? But tracking down a copy and playing it for yourself? No! But I will say it is better than Ninja Bread Man. See? I can be nice.
Well, I would say that the difficulty actually goes a bit too far at times, turning the most sane individual into an angry DMV worker. I mean, what is the deal with the difficulty? It just doesn't get progressively harder. Each stage varies and you never know how the levels are going to play out until you actually play them. So I will leave you guys and gals with this thought. Do you want an ulcer? If so, play this game.
Whoa, that's pretty dark, buddy, even for you.
What can I say, man? You broke my spirit. Either that or this game did. I'm so confused.
K-Wing, there are some games that you'll never forget from your childhood, and this just isn't one of them. It's so average and unremarkable that I really can't say you're missing anything by playing it. So this one might come as a shocker, but I say you should skip it. You know, it's not the game that's hard, it's just that it's harder than it really should be. The levels were clever in parts, but having you constantly switch between characters will get so frustrating after a while, it's just not worth the hassle. Looking back, I think this game could have been great. I keep playing these levels wondering if I would have enjoyed the game more if I only had to control one Viking. Why not just have one level that is just Eric, one level that is just Balog, and one level with just Olaf? That way each level is changed up, instead of this whole switching back and forth thing.
Okay, well, I'm spent. Seriously, Eric, I had an utter blast, and I hope the people that are still watching this did as well. Thanks so much for doing this game with me, man, and I promise, next time you're back, the game will be a lot more fun.
No problem, Luke. I had more fun doing this review with you than playing the game. But I do want our viewers to know I'm not always this cynical. Lost Vikings changed things forever, and there's no going back.
I think you just earned nerd points by quoting The Dark Knight. Booyah! Anyway, for the 50 people still watching, please don't forget to check out Wiiviewer's channel in the description below. Now, next time on Retro Mondays, I've got a cool game in mind. Metal Warriors for the Super Nintendo, cause let's face it, I like me some robots in space blowing things up. Alright folks, remember to check me out on Facebook and Twitter and subscribe if you haven't already. Until we meet again gamers, God bless and happy gaming.